British subscriber channel, Lee speaking. This is a VanaVlog. If you've never watched a VanaVlog before, I'll explain it to you. If you've never watched one before, then everything that I'm going to say is not going to make any sense to you whatsoever. It may seem bizarre, peculiar, crazy, and that's okay, because it would, and if it didn't, that would be weird. A VanaVlog could be advantageous, helpful if you're looking for like new ideas. Maybe you work in marketing or innovation or something like that, and you just need something completely out of the box, just something, completely outside of the box, something completely outside of the product, something completely, totally incomprehensible, but applicable. So, if you've never watched a VanaVlog, it's useful in that kind of a way. If you're kind of like a inspirational sort of person, or someone that's looking for an explanation for the inexplicable, a VanaVlog would be good for you as well. If you're a spiritual person or a religious person that has queries about the spiritual side of your religion, and you've always pondered on mysteries, VanaVlogs are good for that as well. If you want a context to my You Decide vlogs, where you've got pictures with no explanations, definitions, or locations given, and you don't understand, but you know something's there, are VanaVlogs for you. But aside from that, VanaVlogs are to do with Flat Earth British. It's all part of the research. It's how we discovered everything that we've discovered over the last 5-6 years. Which over the last couple of years has exploded all over the internet in the Real Truther community. It's all part of Antiquitech, the true history of our world. It's all part and parcel of that. I don't do many VanaVlogs anymore because, like with those vlogs that say you decide, it's you decide. You determine what you're looking at. You make your own conclusions, and that's kind of important, because if you watch Flat Earth British, like Martin Leaker channel, for example, I forgot what I was going to say then. So that's kind of like pretty much what a VanaVlog is. It's also a little bit like a I don't know if you've ever gone to an online community where you've got like cartoon characters, avatars, and you've got different groups of people, like a bit like Minecraft, where you can like, or The Sims, where you have like different worlds and different buildings, and then communities. And like some communities, they're like role play. And if you ever walked into one of these role play communities, into one of, you know, a castle or something like that, and they all seem to be talking gibberish, but they're all speaking from a certain perspective, a character, there's a storyline, there's a theme to that community, and everybody takes on a different character of that community. It's a bit like, it's nothing like that, but it's a bit like that as well to anybody that's a newcomer to a VanaVlog. You're thinking like, I understand what people were saying, but I don't get it, because it doesn't seem to make any sense in a normal world. So, you know, don't be surprised. I might appear like a complete psycho, but that's perfectly normal, and you know, I just accept that. It is what it is. So that's my intro, my new intro for a VanaVlog. And so, Flat Earth British subscriber channel, Lee speaking. It's a VanaVlog. In this vlog, there isn't going to be any structure as such. I'm just going to be rambling, basically. Just going to be rambling, because that's the kind of place where we are, that's the kind of environment that we're in, and that's the kind of language and communication that I'm surrounded by every day. Everybody just rambles about bollocks, talking about shit that means nothing, that leads to nothing. That's the kind of structure, the way people talk. So in the same way, I'm gonna be unstructured in the same way that the world is structured and how they talk about shit, but I'm not going to be talking about shit. I'm just going to be rambling. So here we go. I want to go back to my last VanaVlog. Oh, it's cold. I'll go back to my last VanaVlog. Onto the subject of, which seems bizarre to everybody, and no one's having none of it at the moment. I'm not a prophet, and I could be wrong about this, but I was talking about this May Day. How many weeks is that away from now? I'm out of power. I think it's like a week and a half away, something like that. May Day. I was talking about the Phoenicians returning. So I'm just adding to that, really. If you could replace the Phoenicians with like the whole concept of aliens from out of space coming to Earth and harvesting mankind, that's kind of like what I mean by Phoenicians. But of course I'm a flat earther, so I don't believe in space. At the same time, the Phoenicians are quite alien to us. And I just wanted to highlight, I mean, because now I'm saying that we need to be prepared. I'm not a prophet. I'm not saying this is absolute or anything like that. It's just what goes through my mind. And I was talking about goose fat hiding in plain sight like a sheep or a fucking horse in the middle of a field or by the border of a field, on your knees and your elbows covered in goose fat. And goose fat is because, like, people that go swimming in the sea, they cover themselves in goose fat to insulate themselves against the cold, and so you won't appear to be like a human, etc, etc, etc. Now the point is, a lot of people, when the shit hits the fan, and they think for different reasons, like, you know, like the notion of world government wanting to genocide the world, and people wanting to bug out, you know, like living off grid in the forest and stuff like that, and stockpiling food and stuff like that. So, you know, to you, the bug out people that are planning to do things like that, like making it like underground shelters and stuff like that. Today, the military in the world, they have radar, X-ray, all manner of things, and they can actually see people in buildings walking around. The technology is that advanced, and they can see it from a helicopter a mile high, and they can zoom in. You know, they can see you. So if mankind has that kind of technology, what kind of technology are the Phoenicians going to have? If you think you can bury yourself underground and they can't find you, you'd be wrong. You have to hide in plain sight. The second thing about that, if the shit hits the fan and you're thinking about going into cities where you've got surveillance everywhere, even on the roads going into cities, you go anywhere near that place, those places, you will be found. And in conjunction with that, over the last couple of months, AI has been unleashed, and so all of those surveillance cameras are all going to be interlinked to the AI, which is programmed to destroy you. So, you know, it's no go. So we're just talking about worms and grass and goose fat. So if you're going to goose fat, if you're going to stockpile anything, stockpile goose fat. I think you can eat it. I think you can eat it as well. And it might make worms taste better as well. I wouldn't chew them though. And it doesn't have to be May Day, you know, it can be sometime in the future. I don't know when the date is exactly going to be or anything. I just have a suspicion. Wish I got a sandwich on the way here. And that's that for that. I need to keep smoking. It's funny, like on the way here, I'm working. I'm at my first job this morning. On the way here, I had lots of things going through my mind. As soon as I start a VanaVlog, it's all gone. Super. maybe I should pause for a sec. I took the hat off, that might help. As I said in my last VanaVlog, over the last, I think since like the whole pandemic thing started, and then, you know, the hard truth of all of the lies that everybody has been fed, with all of the knowledge that I'd accumulated through researching, I call it hold on, let me keep straight here. Since the pandemic started, for me, there's been a real disconnect from the world in my own consciousness. I mean, it happened pre-pandemic, it was already happening, but that really fucking, you know, hammered the nail for me. Because I was working all the way through it. I was in the NHS, nothing was going on, everybody was panicking, the news was panicking everybody out, the government was panicking everybody out, and it was all complete bollocks. And it was during that 2 years that the disconnect was environmental. I was disconnecting within, but then environmentally, all the bullshit and everything, every day, everything that I saw and didn't see, that I was supposed to see, made the divide greater. And since they finished the pandemic bollocks, I've kind of been like a stray fish separated from a school on its own, kind of aloof, swimming about kind of thing. I didn't really have any basis or point of reference to which do a VanaVlog to explain anything anymore. But over the last couple of months, I've kind of become more reliant on my own consciousness, or more aware of my own consciousness. I still seem to be fighting, I still seem to be existing. I just will not fucking die, you know? And nothing of this world is enabling me to do that through the pandemic and after the pandemic up till now. Not that I believe in time, anyway, that's something else. And so that kind of like self-awareness, that how the hell am I managing to carry on without the support of the world, without the support of community, education, the environment in all of its different lies and everything else. How am I still? And I just have to conclude that, well, it's happening apart from this place. And so I've become aware of my consciousness that is not part of this place anymore in my mind. And maybe it never was, but I couldn't see it. I believed in this world. You know, I believed in the lies, that it was truth. I believed that my environment defined me. Clearly, it doesn't now. And back then, it didn't either. Because this could have, you know, the pandemic could have happened 4 years ago. You know, it doesn't matter. I suppose the last month I've been kind of pondering about my own consciousness and exactly where is it, because it isn't part of this place. I mean, that's part of this place, but I'm clearly not part of this place. And I'm kind of thinking about, you know, what is the environment of my consciousness then? And so far I've got fuck all, nothing. No, maybe my consciousness is an environment in itself, and so there isn't kind of like an exterior to my consciousness. There's not a place where my consciousness dwells. And so there is no place to find, you know. So, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's a a bit of a problem because of my education, because of everything I've been taught about what life is. And so I'm looking for an environment for my consciousness, because if there's no environment, there's no life, you know, because that's what we're taught. You know, and I mentioned that because, you know, I've been talking with someone recently. They're kind of like on the same page as me, but they're trapped in the environment of this place to try to work things out, to try understand, like physics or nature or people or systems, and like trying to, you know, kind of like put them together to create a picture or a solution or an escape or a conquest or something like that. But that clearly doesn't work, and it can't work. Because you're just trying to arrange something that isn't you. I've got no coffee left either. It's also difficult to talk about history in this place because, you know, it's just part of the environment. And I can't see the point of I can see the point of fake history, and I can see the point of future knowledge and combining the two to keep you in the illusion that the environment and your physical body is what life is all about. You know, I can see that. And that's something that for myself personally I try to fight against. And that's the reason why, you know, when I do research, fucking lawnmowers, when I do research, I don't necessarily read books or go online and read stuff, or look into existing systems of education and knowledge and stuff like that. What I do, I have a certain amount of individuals who do their own research, and I propose things to them which might have nothing to do with their own research, but I understand that the principles that they know through their own research, I can find if those principles hold up. I mean, I call it live research. I live research through people like Martin Leaker, Rudy and the Dogs, Jens, although doesn't really talk to me very much, Niven, but I don't talk to him anymore, really. James Brockhurst, sporadically. You know, these people, and it's not like a think tank. We don't all work to one purpose. I mean, like when you have a think tank, like say advertising agency or a government agency, you've got a think tank. You have something that you want to achieve. You know, this is what we want to do. How are we going to do it? But with these people, these circle of people, there's not a plaque, there's not a point. Everybody's doing their own thing. And some of them, they don't even like each other. You know, it's not, you know, we're not together in that way to one purpose. It's not like that. For my research with them, you know, it doesn't work like that, you know. You know, some people are conspiracy theorists. Some people are like Wise Up, for example. I mean, he's like just like God and creation and stuff. You know, like Niven is into like fractal existence. I mean, none of them would agree with any of them, kind of thing, if you see what I mean. So, you know, my research, my sources, they're not biased in any way at all, you know. And so that counteracts all of the bullshit of my environment when I want to filter through all the bullshit and just find out what's actually true, you know, finding the gems in all this shit. So that's kind of one of the ways that I interact. So research, but again, somehow that's kind of connected with my own consciousness. Maybe I'm connecting with their consciousness. Maybe we're consciousnesses, or consciousness. I don't know. It works anyway. It works anyway. So, like, I mean, you know, like if you go on TikTok at the moment, I mean, it is exploding with the whole thing about cymatics, you know, churches and cathedrals. You know, there's stained glass windows, why they're all cymatic patterns, organs, that churches weren't originally churches, they were something else. Flat Earth British, we were saying this years ago. We discovered this years ago, and we just pumped it out on YouTube. And I won't lie, it is millions and millions, through our channels, millions and millions of people have watched all of our stuff. And then my channel got banned. This is a new one. But then, it was too late. It was too late, because it was already in so many other people's consciousness and on so many different channels as well. I mean, Martin Nita, I think he's got 4 or 5 channels, and it's chock-a-block with all of the research. So it didn't matter that they fucking flushed my channel down the toilet. Doesn't matter, cat's out the bag. And now, like with TikTok, well, it's not really a place where you upload vlogs or anything like that. It's nothing like Facebook, but it's all there. It's all there, and everybody's coming to the knowledge of it and everything. So it's all working. I mean, it was a work in progress, and now it's done. Oh yeah, AI. So I was talking earlier about AI and cities. Don't go anywhere near a fucking city or a fucking motorway. So I was going to say, I don't know. I don't know when AI Kit was released. If I just say the beginning of this year, I'd say prior to January the 1st, 2023, if that's when AI was released, all knowledge that has been hidden by the elite or by the environment, all of the secrets and the truths that we found that were hidden were of value. But now, because of AI, everything has changed. Because of AI, you've got got an app called Chat APT or ADT, Chat ADT. Basically, you can download an AI onto your phone. You can ask it anything, and it'll tell you everything, give you all the answers to everything. So now, everything is going to be revealed. All of our research and everything, all the answers are coming thick and just easy. Now, everything about Phoenicians and everything, I could tell you right now, because it's all come up. I've been finding it. It's just ping, 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 ping. Just getting pinged all the time. But the point is, these answers aren't hidden anymore. They're being revealed. But the thing about these answers, the answers are answers that only coincide with questions that you've been indoctrinated with from a very early age. But you were not given the answers, and it remained a mystery. And so you just trusted in people that had a profession or a study in any particular subject that they understood, but you never would. Now that is changed. The AI has now, because it's all part of the plan, now the answers are going to come, and they're going to appear to be the answers and the meaning to life. But all that's going to be happening is it's going to be logically justifying all of your indoctrination. That's what's happening now. So now, knowledge is not the way out. It's not the answer. Now, it isn't the answer. They're clever bastards. I'll tell you that. True. If you do want to, if you do want to look for answers, you now have to look at it. Look for answers. From the points of reference of the whole back catalogue of Flat Earth British before January the 1st, 2023. All of the things that we were looking into, which were questions that were forbidden and what seemed to be complete nonsense to the world at that time, and the answers that we found. You can do a continuation of that and nothing else. You know, if you go along with all new information, it's just not going to work. All the new answers. It's a trap to reinforce the environmental lie. There's a certain irony in that, you know, the zero carbon footprint. You know, the World Health Organization wants to destroy humanity so the environment can be free from humanity. The irony of that. And it's true, our consciousness is not part of the environment anyway. You know, it's like a double whammy. Clusterfuck. Crazy. I mean, you put goose fat on potatoes, roast potatoes, don't you? So I'm sure it's edible. I mean, I haven't done the experiment to see if it... I mean, what I'm thinking, I mean, I've got a jar at home. Probably when I get home, I'll fill up a bowl with some ice cold water, smother my hand in goose fat, and then put it in and see what happens. People are turning up now. Yeah, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, what you know, what's first? You know, I watch people walking around. They're kind of enslaved to the environment. They don't. I mean, they walk around like life is the be and the end all of everything, but they consciously do it. And that's the key. They're conscious. I can't say that word. Conscious. You know the word. They're consciously doing that. But they don't separate their conscience from what they're doing. The consciousness from the environment, you know? And I see it so clearly. And I mean, you know, where am I right now? I suppose I'm in a forestry environment, forestry people and offices and stuff like that. They're turning up with their bags and their purses and uniform and tools, and they get here at a certain time. They can't be late. They've got their procedures to do during the day. They think it's important, and they're achieving nothing. They're unconscious of their consciousness because of the environment, because of all of the rules and regulations, because of religion, because of family, because of the concept of time. Yeah, I was thinking about if any of us actually managed to survive a reset and the inheritors come. And I think I was talking about it in my last VanaVlog, or maybe commenting on a Martinica live Flatter-day vlog. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Bollocks. Unconscious of being conscious, while being conscious of the environment. Bollocks. See, I don't really plan VanaVlogs. I used to do Bible studies. I'd plan them. I have done an hour Bible study, talking for an hour with no notes, constantly talking, going into the Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, prophecies, history, all like Bible stuff. Doing Bible study. And how I achieved that, I'd spend a week every day doing the same job I do now, like working in water, and I knew all the sites that I had to go to. I knew where they all were. I didn't need my flat nav. And so I just used my phone. No, I wouldn't use my phone at all. You know, I'd just be talking out loud, remembering, and then adding, and then not rehearsing, saying it again, and then saying it again and adding a bit more. You know, all day, every day, like for a week, until I could speak for an hour, having remembered everything. And then I go to the Bible study, and then I teach them all without notes. It would be a flow, but I'd just be like recounting, something or other, you know. But this is something completely different, you know. A VanaVlog, I don't rehearse. Now, things may go through my mind, you know, in the morning, and then I think like, oh, there might be enough there. to do a VanaVlog, you know. I seem to be kind of like in my consciousness today somewhat more separated from the environment than usual. Or maybe, you know, I watch like a Rudy vlog, or chat with Rudy, or, you know, chat with Martin, or watch one of his vlogs, you know, and then it just, I'm kind of separated from the environment in a certain way, and it kind of like hits me, and then I'm kind of in that zone, and then I can do a VanaVlog kind of like based on it. Another thing about doing VanaVlogs is, you know, if there's like aspects of it and, you know, I'm not sure, you know, I run it by those people, see what they say. And sometimes I don't ask, and then I just do a VanaVlog and I just come out with whatever the hell I come out with, and then, you know, they're like the filters. If they pick up on it, then I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. But if they don't, then I'm kind of like, oh, you know, maybe not then, maybe not, or maybe they're not ready, you know, or maybe I got that wrong, you know. That's just how it goes. Now, I go to lots of places in my job. One of them is a supermarket brand. They're called, no, not wholesalers, distribution centres. Like, say for example, like Sainsbury's, they have these distribution centres everywhere. These places are absolutely huge. You just wouldn't believe how big they are. These big blocks, and then on all sides of these blocks you've got like these hatches, big hatches, and the lorries, they back onto these hatches, and then the tail end lifts up, and then you've got all of the trolleys with all of the products, and they all go into the back of the lorries. But these hatches, you've got these massive rooms where people are like stocking up all of these metal tray wheelie things with all of the products in, and that's just one to fill one lorry. I mean, it's thousands upon thousands and thousands of people. I mean, it's truly mind-boggling. You know, I never knew that. You know, I just thought, oh well, you know, you just go to a supermarket, the lorry turns up with all the stuff on, you know. But the process of that happening, the scale of it is mad, absolutely mad. So, you know, if there was like, if people start dying from fucking COVID, what's it called? COVID injections. COVID jabs. I think of the word. You know, people start dropping like flies. There will be no food. There will be no food. You just would not believe how many people it takes to fill a supermarket. As many products that there are in a supermarket, there are people, you know, to put it there. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Totally unsustainable. If the population goes down. There's a guy in London, white and white, rides around on a bike in central London, and it's quite funny actually, and he tells everybody to stop having kids. And I didn't really like it at first, you know, the thing that, you know, he's saying, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of like right, you know. And in another way, he's wrong. Time. There's a thing about my consciousness and time, which doesn't exist, and the environment. The last couple of days, I'm trying to get to grips with it. If I kind of like, oh, what is that fucking thing? You know, on the Wise Up channel, he's got like that disc thing. Is it the Mayan calendar? No. It's like a birth to death thing, isn't it? Or is it just, fuck knows? This is going to be hard to grasp because it's hard to explain. Time doesn't exist, and yet you can think, well, I remember when I was 7 years old. I can remember when I was 5. I can remember when I was 20. I can remember when I was 60. I can remember this day. I can remember that holiday. I can remember what I was doing at that time, and blah 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 blah. So it would seem that that time exists. You think, well, I didn't look now how I looked then. Things like that. Right. If you could think of a diamond that has different facets on it, or maybe more like a crystal, because you have a lot more facets. You are that thing, but there are different sides to you, and all of those different sides is time. If you could replace time with facets, you are, I wouldn't say an object, a thing, but you are your consciousness has facets. And you can be in or look through any of those facets at any time. You know, you might have a particular, you know, some kind of time in your past that was so bad you'd never forget it, or so good you'd never forget it, or so shocking, or so surprising. When you think about it, it's like you relive it, but you can't relive it because time doesn't exist. It's just you. It's just you. And so I'll just leave you with that for a second, okay? And I'll say something else. So then you might say, What about the future then? Surely you can win the lottery, Lee, next week. This week you can win the lottery, because time doesn't exist. There is a facet of your consciousness that is the future, if you believe time exists, which it doesn't. I'll leave you with that for a minute. Maybe the year 2000, I lived in Newquay, Cornwall. If I close my eyes, why do I need to close my eyes? If I close my eyes, I can see it. I can see myself. I'm there now doing what I did. Right now, if I go back there, it's not the same. Roads are gone. There are housing estates where there were roads. Lots of things have changed. But I'm looking through one facet. If I go there, it's not the same facet, is it? Because that facet, that view is real, and yet it is not. And so the same could be said for now, if time exists. So you can't really think in time, but realise that your consciousness is kind of like a crystal with facets, and the environment are not the facets. Because if I go to Newquay right now, it's not the same. Did you get that? And that's why time travel can't exist, because time doesn't exist. But what you think is time, when you think about your history, it's now. It's your consciousness. If I keep saying words, maybe so I'm just thinking about my father right now. So, you know, back to the normal world, the way people think. So, you know, my dad's obviously from a different generation, and his parents from a different generation, and my brother from a different generation, and his children from a different generation. And all of the principles of all of those generations are completely different. I mean, my father scratches his head and can't understand why it is that his grandchildren do not hold any of his principles that were passed down from his parents. And today, in the now, all of his knowledge, all of his experience is not applicable whatsoever to his grandchildren. Right, let's take it while I'm getting back there now. For example, when he grew up, whenever he had dinner, he'd sit at a table with his family. When I grew up, I sit at a table with my family. My brother doesn't. And his family, they don't. And me, I mean, I don't have a family, but I've got cats. We don't sit at a table when we eat our dinner. We sit in front of the TV with a tray. You know, we don't sit around a table talking or discussing anything. You know, we just mong out and eat. And so whenever my father comes to my home, it's bizarre because we have to sit around a table and eat and talk. You know, it's just not relevant anymore. The thing about my father is he doesn't look through the facet of now. He's looking through a different facet, which is now, but isn't now. Combine that with this. Just hold on to that, because I'm going to forget. I'm talking about the inheritors if we survive. About a year ago, no, about a year and a half ago, in my job, I went to a private school. I had to take some water samples from a classroom. That doesn't normally happen. You can't go into a classroom and start running taps and disturbing the class. But for some reason, it was an exception to the rule. And these kids were somewhere between 8 and 11 years old. And the teacher was teaching them something. And for the life of me, I couldn't really understand what he was teaching them. It seemed to be, you know, like you get like fractions like pi, you know, like half, a quarter, stuff like that. He was teaching them stuff like that. I understood the words. I understood the compartmentalization of an object and stuff like that. But somehow he was pulling it apart and then turning them around and then putting them back together in a different way to create an object that had a meaning, that had a value and a principle that you could apply to attain something. And I had no point of reference in anything that I've ever learned to understand what was being taught. But kids today are being taught to contemplate, calculate, evaluate the environment in a way that to us, if we lived long enough and we wanted to interact with them, it would be like talking to somebody in an insane asylum, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So if I live for 200 years and I try to have a conversation with any of these kids as adults, we wouldn't be able to communicate. We wouldn't be able to be on the same page. We wouldn't be able to work together. That group would be able to, but I would not be a part of it anymore. And it's kind of like the same with my dad. He cannot be a part of his grandchildren's life anymore. Well, anymore. He can't gel, because the principles are completely different. The mindset is completely different. And so, you know, I was thinking, like, if any of us survived a reset and the inheritors came, even if they spoke the same language, the meaning of words and sentences, you know, the combination of words into a sentence would not have the same meaning. They may as well speak a different language. In fact, if the inheritors spoke a different language and you learned that language, you might have a hope. But if they spoke the same language, you're fucked. It's a bit like Black's Law Dictionary. You know, if you want to learn the law, one of the first things they will tell you is they say, you have to understand that although you understand all of these English words in the Black Law Dictionary, you may as well be learning a different language, because all of the words have a completely different meaning, and when you combine them, they have a completely different outcome. What's the time? I'll wait till 1:30. I've been here at 1:30. I've got about 5 minutes and then I'll have to have a break. I've got my bottles here. Rudy said to me a couple of days ago, he said, we're static, but the world moves around us, past us, travelling without moving. Why did I say that? Yeah, I'll finish this cigarette and then I'll... Your consciousness is not subject to time. So if I say to myself, what am I going to be doing in a year's time? If I pretend time exists, time will pass me by. I can't be part of the future because I don't exist in the future, because time doesn't exist. The environment will give me the illusion of time, but I will always be now. I will not be then. So if you're hoping for a different future, you can't, because you're only now, like you were now back then. And back then was not now. Now. So, you know, this is what I was saying, you know, when I started the VanaVlog. I was just saying, you know, some things would seem absolutely ludicrous, and some things might not make sense, and some things will be a completely new concept, and some things have never been said. But then, you know, I can't say that they've never been said because time doesn't exist. A couple of, no, I can think of one example. You know, the old, or the recently modern movie, The Time Machine. Yeah, it just sits in a machine and time passes him by. And what really does exist? Him in the time machine, or the environment outside of the time machine? What really exists in that movie? What principle they're trying to convey? There's another one. What's the other one? I'm gonna have to go in and do some work in a minute. Of course, it sounds like I'm talking gibberish because the levels that I'm talking about are on different levels. You know, it's not one and the same thing. They kind of like contradict each other. I'm referring to aspects of the environment that involve time, whilst at the same time saying that time doesn't exist. You know? So it sounds crazy, but that's how it works on a VanaVlog. I'm going to attempt to go in. Well, I didn't get in. We've got about another half an hour-ish. My friend Jen's just came to mind. Man, I mean, I'm pretty fucking good, right? But that guy, my gosh, he's on a whole fucking different level, that guy. You know, about, my gosh, I mean, it must be about 4 years ago now. I was communicating with him, sending me emails, long emails with links and stuff. The stuff he was saying in it, I just no point of reference. I mean, like, you know, the whole thing about the Phoenicians and everything, right? He sent me an email, and he asked me a question, and he said, what do you know about water? You work with water. What do you know about water? And I've been working in water for must be a couple of decades. Must be. He said, so tell me about water, Lee, or, you know, some kind of question like that. And I said, what? Nothing. What about water? Why are you asking me about water? What's water got to do with anything? And he said, I can't fucking, well, he might have said that, might have said fucking, But he's saying like, how the fuck do you not know anything about water? You work with water all the time. You know, you put it in such a way that it was like a fucking like a verbal slap. And I thought, maybe there's something in it. And so I started looking into it. And then, oh my gosh. One thing led on to another. And then, you know, suddenly it all clicked. And then, you know, working with Martin as well, we found the Phoenicians, everything, Aquatech, everything. You know, and this was like a year before. I don't know if he, I'm not sure if he, but the thing is, he never fucking lets on about anything, you know, he just fucking asks you stuff. You know, I got him back though. I said, what do you know about fish? You know, because after I'd gone down that kind of like path of investigation, you know, and then I found out that we're all fish. This whole place is like a fucking aquarium. And I said to him, what do you know about fish then, Jens? He's like, oh, I don't know anything about fish. But my gosh, you know, it's just on a whole fucking different level. You know, I've stored all the emails because, you know, just not ready. Just not ready to sort of delve in. I unsubscribed from his channel, Lobchat. I unsubscribed from his channel on Saturday out of protest. He hasn't made a vlog for 4 years, which doesn't matter because time doesn't exist, kind of thing. But this is where I'm going, you know, this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. And then a comment Martin made, what it was, I don't know why he didn't do a flat a day vlog last Saturday, but the Saturday before that he did a vlog. And then, you know, sometimes the live chat, he'll pull it up on the main screen of what people have said, and then he'll comment on it, you know. Then up pops Flat Earth British sub, and then the word batshit. Now, you know, when you do a live vlog for a couple of hours, you can sort of announce that there's going to be a live vlog in a couple of hours, and the live chat feed will pop up while you're waiting, so you can all chat. Shit, yeah. What? Fuck it, I lost it. Let me turn to that facet. Anyway, yes, so I was commenting all the time up until maybe a quarter of an hour before the live vlog started. But I was so drunk I just had to go to bed, so I went to bed. So I was completely unconscious during the whole of the Flat a Day vlog. And then lo and behold, about 14 minutes into the live vlog, Flat Earth British comes up and the word batshit. So I typed in batshit. Right? I wasn't there. So I thought it's fucking AI shit, fucking commenting on my behalf. And it was definitely my name, you know, my tag. And so then I commented to Martin, I said, Martin, this is fucking AI shit. I never fucking typed that. I said, I was unconscious in bed. And he said, well, it doesn't really matter because you're everywhere all at once. You know? See, this is the thing, you know, it's the urgency of the moment of AI coming into being versus time doesn't exist. So you're everywhere all at once, but then you're nowhere because you're not part of the environment. But I'm interacting and not interacting with the environment, and the environment is acting on my behalf. And then Rudy says, you're static, you don't move, and the world passes you by. Or the world moves around or through or whatever, you know? But it's just being aware of your consciousness. You know, and when I logically think of all of the things about life and you combine them to create a picture, they don't fit together. Doesn't work. Much like, you know, when you go to school and they say, well, if you learn and if you work hard enough, you'll achieve anything. No, you won't. I sound a bit like a fucking Buddhist. I'm not. And I'm not actually trying to teach anybody anything either. I'm not starting a fucking new religion or something, or, you know, I'm just doing a VanaVlog. I just say stuff. You decide. And, you know, someone made a comment on one of my You Decide vlogs. And the comment was something along the lines of, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me to decide. You know, and I was totally with it. You know, I fucking liked it and loved it. You know, liked it and loved it, that comment. Well, I go to universities and colleges in my job. You know, they've all got their IT departments and all that kind of stuff. And it will be relevant for maybe 10 years of their life in that particular profession, in their working life. And then it will be completely irrelevant. And then they'll try to learn the new skills of the next generation that's coming in to do the work that that person hasn't been taught. And that person will use their skill set to try to learn this new skill set, but they won't be able to do it. And they won't be able to do it because the whole foundation of that new skill set is like, what, 15, 16 years in the making, in the formulating. Like when I was talking about that private school, fractal equations and whatever the fuck all that was about. You know, you couldn't, as an old generation, formulate, reciprocate the same thing. You couldn't do it. You'd need 15 years to learn the principles of the new way of doing things. You just go down until eventually you just get the fucking sack, or you have to get a fucking job at fucking Pizza Hut or McDonald's or something, because your skill set is no longer relevant. Just the same. There's actually any left in that. There's a bit. There is the question about the environment, yes. Let's start now then. Time doesn't exist. So when you walk into a major city and you see all of the different types of constructs, like antiquity buildings, you got what people call Tartaria red brick, which are batteries. Red bricks are batteries. I'm not sure now if they're batteries, but those ones in the now are batteries, not utilised. And then you've got your kind of like limestone, whatever stone, like St Paul's Cathedral, something like that. And you've got this whole mishmash of different time periods, and they're all kind of like interwoven, built upon each other, or integrated into each other. It's a real mishmash. What you would expect would have like one time frame of building, like St Paul's Cathedral, or I'm not very good with buildings, famous buildings that look like that. You expect it all to be like that, and then as a new era comes along, that all gets demolished, and there's another era, and maybe it's like steel and glass, something like that. And we're supposed to have been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So what's going on then? What's going on? How can all of these different time period buildings be interwoven and exist in the same place? If time doesn't exist. Gosh, I'm smoking a lot. I feel very anxious at the moment doing this VanaVlog, so I keep smoking. The environment has to appeal to the consciousness, which has many facets. It is impossible for the environment to do that, but it tries to cover as many facets of the consciousness as it can, and so that is why in the cities you have that mishmash. Because we can view all times, and so the environment will be all times at the same time. Alice Through the Looking Glass. Why did that come to my mind? Well, about 8 minutes I'm going to be starting my work, apparently. Someone commented on my last VanaVlog. I said something, maybe I went for something along the lines of I was talking about one thing and then I went over to a different subject, but during the transition I was just being myself, I was just being honest. And he viewed, which is fine, he viewed me doing a VanaVlog as some kind of entertainment, acting. Disingenuous role-playing play, you know, something like that. He was absolutely amazed by it. Oh, bollocks, I fucking lost it again. You know, I think it's me, but it's not. But keeps like losing track. But you know, it's just the environment morphing around me. I was looking at somebody getting out of a fucking car. I mean, are people different from the environment? Are people different from the environment? I can see that he was using his body. He's a consciousness using his body to interact with the environment. Come on, Lee. Fuck it, man. Come on. It's not there now. Nope, fuck it. I'm sitting here doing a VanaVlog and I'm smoking and in the car park. And I'm probably not allowed, and so like I've got an eye out here and there. If I see anybody sort of coming to my right, they'd see that I was smoking. So then I hide it, you know. But I observed, I mean, because that person might just go into the office and just say, oh, the guy smoking in his van is illegal, or whatever, you know. And they think it's so important. Now that person walking, I don't know, but you know, it could have, if they did. And, oh, you know, they think it's so important to report me because I'm smoking in my van in a car park where there's no smoking. And then maybe they'll get praised for grassing me up. And then they'll have a sense of, oh, I did the right thing today. And then they'll go home and tell their spouse or whatever, saying like, oh gosh, I arrived at work today and there was this contractor smoking in his van and it's no smoking. So I went to my line leader and I told them, and then we both went out and approached the guy in the van. I mean, you know, what contribution to the world would that make? What, you know, who would benefit from it? I mean, you know, what is the point? What is the point? You know, it's just another consciousness bombarded by the environment. I think what, 2 minutes. Yeah, environment. Rudy thinks that there's like some kind of intelligence, some kind of structure to the environment. You know, like I'm just, you know, I'm not quoting him. I'm just saying what I think that he was saying. That, you know, something's in charge. They're governing. Something is governing the environment. I've only got 1 minute left. I'll carry on when I get back. Okay, carry on. Yeah. So, no, it's something controlling the environment, kind of thing. I've never thought about that off the top of my head. Could it be us that's controlling the environment because we're unaware of our own consciousness, that, you know, we're projecting the whole concept of time and stuff like that, you know? But then on a few occasions Jen has said to me, be careful what you give your attention to. You know, and he doesn't just fucking say like, just, it's not, if he makes a comment, it's not a shallow comment, it's deep, you know. So, you know, perhaps it's that rather than, you know, some controlling force, some god or equivalent architect or whatever. I mean, you know, for me personally, and I've said it, you know, for years, it's so intricate. There are so many mechanisms. There's so much going on in the environment. Like I said before, you know, like right now, if I go and dig a hole, I might find an ant's nest, worms, bugs, whole little ecosystem doing shit, which is completely pointless. It's overkill. It's not economical. But you know, there's just so much going on, too much going on, for absolutely no fucking reason. Don't know, basically, right now. Yeah, what's getting me going at the moment is the whole male-female thing. You know, what is all that about? What's going on there? The whole environmental thing, you know, is it just another trap? Something to take your attention away from your own consciousness? Because it's part and parcel of the whole thing of the concept of family, and brothers and sisters and stuff like that, you know? Is it real? Okay. You know, all these eco warriors, you know, okay, you eliminate humanity, so the world is just plantage and animalage, and then what? Then what? What? What does the elimination of humanity solve exactly? I'll be back in a minute or two. yeah, I mean, you know, but let's just say, let's go with the stupid fucking bollocks story, bollocks. So the elites wipe out humanity, and there's like, I don't know, 100 of them left, and then they live in a verdant green fucking planet, and fucking, what's that thing called? Platypus? Flat-billed platypus or something. Extinct things fucking come back, and the whole place is overrun by animals. And then it's all fucking tropical rainforests, and then the elite, you know, they build like a society fucking out of wooden log cabins or something like that. And then what? And then what? What's the point? What's achieved? Nothing. Nothing's fucking achieved. Only the responsible will survive. And for how long? Fucking inbreds for 1,000 years. So inbreds and animals. I'll tell you this, if that happens, eventually the animal kingdom will fucking destroy them, eat them. Nature will eat them. Nature will eat itself. Oh, I've got that really weird spasm in my cheek. Yeah, it was just completely fucking pointless. Completely pointless mission. Completely pointless. I'll be back. Fucking hell, it's cold. I mean, you know what, they're going to be vegetarians? Are they going to eat meat? They're going to kill things to eat? I mean, you know what they're going to do? You're going to live forever eating fucking plantage? And, you know, ideally, you wouldn't eat plants, you wouldn't eat vegetables, you wouldn't eat fruit. You'd leave it the fuck alone because you're an eco-warrior. You'd leave it. You'd be a hypocrite to do so. Even drinking water. I mean, you know, trees need water, plants, fuck ever, nature needs water, and you're taking it away from nature. So you're a shit eco-warrior, right? Or maybe they believe we live on a spinning planet in fucking space. So they want to explore strange new worlds. How are they going to do that? How are they going to build a spaceship? You know? They're going to start mining for metals? I think, oh, we'll do it responsibly. It's just, it's nutsville. It's nutsville. And if you don't kill all humanity, and humanity just carries on and carries on, well, I mean, you've got an eco balance, haven't you? The population doesn't grow exponentially. You know, as many people were born, die. But I mean, you know, that's just a small picture. But you know, the bigger picture, what's controlling nature? You know, so it's a good question. I'll give that one some thought. Am I going to do that now? I don't know what to do. I don't want to pause on the talk. I mean, you have to prune trees, like fruit trees, right? You have to prune them, I think. If you don't, then the fruit goes to shit. But, you know, if you've got like a fucking deer or a wild boar in a forest, you know, he wants like nice fruit, right? But if there's no man to prune it, I don't know what to do first. I should get out of here. Yeah, like I said, like, you know, right now I'm in a forestry place. The amount of work that goes into it. You know, if there were no humans on Earth, I don't know if the right word is cultivating, but, you know, forestry, stuff like that. You know, certain species of certain things will overtake others until there's none left. Shit, where am I going? Is that way? I'm sure there are lots of examples of ecological, I don't say these words very often, ecological disasters in the absence of mankind. I mean, like rivers, for example. You know, if the banks aren't trimmed and stuff like that, you know, algae grows and etc, etc, you know, the rivers are just going to die, right? Fuck, I think I've taken a wrong turn. I took a wrong turn. But you know, I'm talking about this, but this is all just to do with arguments like within the environment. I mean, there are no answers within the environment. Oh, way out. Okay. There are no answers to be gleaned from the environment. You are the answer. If there was a question. But you know, the whole thing about a question demands an answer. Well, why does there have to be a question? You know, it's all environmental again. Generally speaking. So I think I'm going to get a sandwich, another coffee, and then go to my next job, write out all my paperwork, and then continue the VanaVlog. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, so the rest of my day just went completely tits up. So this won't be as long a vlog as I thought, so I don't know. Might have some time tomorrow to do a continuation. But yeah, last thing I think I was saying, like the whole man-woman thing, I mean, that's really kind of got me perplexed at the moment. In context, if there is a context of the things that I'm talking about, because there is no justification for the environment versus the consciousness. And if, you know, everyone are just individual, or everyone is just a consciousness, or individual consciousnesses, what does that mean? You know, for gender, what does that mean? You know? So that's kind of perplexed me at the moment, and I do view the whole thing from that angle. And since last week, really, I'm just kind of looking at women and thinking, what? How curious, you know? And men as well. And also, you know, one person's perception versus another. You know, can it be changed? I mean, if you view me as a guy, but in my Brian, in my consciousness, I view myself as a woman, you know, who has the final say? And what actually is reality? What I see or what you see? I'm not gay or anything like that. Anyway, I'm not going down that road. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've really fucked up today with my work. It's this place I always have difficulty to find. And last time I found it with the help of my office, but it's so long ago I completely forgot, and I made the same mistake, and so I just fucked up. I couldn't do one of the jobs. I was just so fucking angry about it. And yeah, so I've kind of like lost my flow now, if I had one. Yeah, so you know, Flat British, you know, we've kind of made note that, you know, when you look at nature, it does resemble the human body, you know, like trees, arteries, grass, hair, and the list goes on and on and on. So, you know, is the environment a projection of ourselves, of our bodies? But then the body itself is part of the environment. Bastards turning right. But it's the body part of ourselves. If you think your body is your consciousness, you'd be wrong. So then, am I then to conclude that by the similarity of the environment and the human body, that they're both one and the same thing, and not my friend or yours? In your consciousness, you don't feel pain, you don't feel love, you don't feel hate. It's all physical, hot and cold. Your consciousness cannot feel hot or cold. It's just self-aware. Define consciousness. Well, I can't define it by the environment, can I? Well, I could say it's not the environment. Is that a definition? I don't know. Environment, the human experience. I guess consciousness is a viewer, a browser on the internet. Can the consciousness exist without the environment of what people call life? Can it exist? Well, it does exist apart from it. You know, you can fuck about with fractals and interdimensionism. You know, like imagine places that are twisted versions of the environment that we're in. Of course, you know, somehow improve upon, or sky's the limit, really. But mean, for me, it's like a cast iron wheel. The ability to say fuck off to reality, the environment, whatever you want to call it, life, you know, to not be deceived, you know, to not be told, to not be maintained. And it, you know, it does appear proved that time and time again that the environment wants to dictate with threats, trying to project fear onto the consciousness. And again and again and again, I've sat it out with this flat denial. To say fuck off. Go on then. Yeah, go on then. And it just hasn't gone through with its threats, with its insistence that it's real, and I must obey it. I must abide by it. And it's, you know, it's very intense, you know, the environment is very intense. It's very, what's that word? Influential? No, I'm sure it's a P word. Persuasive. It's so very persuasive. It's kind of like in religion, and you've got the devil. And he says, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that, and then, you know, then I'll do that to your friends, your parents, and, you know, threats, and blah 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 blah. But it's just empty words, and really the environment is kind of just like an empty. It's just empty. There's no substance to it, ironically. No substance to it whatsoever. Funny. Over the last couple of years, you know, the whole subject has driven me crazy. Drinking me to an alcoholic, driven me to be a fucking alcoholic, just to cope, to try to settle in some way. Mainly brought on by me kind of trying to find an equilibrium between what I know to be true and everything that I see that tells me that I'm a liar. And I've sought from the environment to justify myself, and of course it's completely impossible. And you know, I've gone from drunk madness, to drugged madness, to mental madness. You know, as part of that process, not intentionally, but I've just done it, like, subconsciously I've done it, but I've actually done it. And in that there was a hope that if I did in fact actually go mad, that would be something that I could work with. But madness forsakes me, you know, not even madness, which is a promise of the environment. If you do not conform, if you do not believe, you will go insane. And I was like, well, fuck you, I'll go insane. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all this fucking shit, all of this bollocks. I'm sick of it every fucking day. Getting up in the morning, allegedly, and then having to just live like a bitch and put up with everybody else's shit on top of it, and you know, and be miserable because I see everybody suffering as well as my own, and on it goes. And you know, it'd make anybody go mad, but I can't, I won't. It just won't happen. I can't, because the consciousness is not what the environment tells me I am. If it was true, I wouldn't be doing a VanaVlog right now. I'd be on meds in a psychiatric ward, in a straitjacket, in a padded room. It just won't fucking work. It just won't work. It's not that I've got an impenetrable armour or something. It's just that it's all bollocks, and I'm real and it's not. In my consciousness, I am real. Anyway, again, it's the world around that is morphing all the time around your consciousness to deceive you, to take you away from your self-awareness of your consciousness. And it plays on your consciousness because it knows you are a consciousness. It doesn't want you to know, but by the very fact that it tries, proves that you are. Otherwise it wouldn't fucking bother, and the world would not look how it looks, and would not change how it changes, and the changes would not become stagnant in the now for you to observe and say, well, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right at all. It doesn't make any sense. How can this be that when that is this? You know, and on it goes. This is really pissing me off right now because I go to the co-op nearly every day. There's a rear entrance to the co-op and there's a car park there, but since COVID they closed it and they still won't open it, and it appears that they have no intention of opening it ever again. So there's only one entrance, which is the front entrance. And there's obviously two ways to the front entrance, from the left or from the right. Now on the right there's a chip shop, and in the chip shop it's this young gay guy who fucking likes me too much, and so I have to park like the other side of the co-op and approach from the right. I approach from the right. Gay chip shop is on the left. And then like a couple of weeks ago, you know, this guy turns up to the right, you know, like the homeless people with the magazines in Britain. I can't remember what the magazine's called. They just beg you for money. So you walk past, they go, please sir, and you're like, go into the co-op, come out the co-op. 5 minutes, he can see you. He saw you 5 minutes ago. You're walking back, and he's fucking doing it to you again. You blanked him, and you come out, and he's fucking doing it again. So every time I go to the co-op, either I get fucking gayed or fucking begged. Both are fucking annoying. And I don't even like going to the co-op anyway. Now it's just fucking intolerable. And every Friday, fucking the wife wants fish and chips, so I have to go to the fucking get a gay fish and chips. No, it must be said. I mean, I favour the point that, you know, perhaps we're individually, en masse even, projecting the environment. You know, I favour that to some kind of God or something like that, doing it all. But, you know, there's no way I would, you know, have like a fucking beggar bothering me on the right and a fucking gay man trying to bugger me on the left. I would not project that. And maybe they're projecting it onto me. I'll be back in a minute. remember Mythbusters, and is it Adam? Yeah, this used to say this saying. Oh right. Yeah, I remember Mythbusters, and Adam, he used to have this saying, which was, "I reject your reality and substitute it for one of my own," or of my own, kind of thing. Do you think that's air you're breathing? So, yeah, last week, my alcoholism had got to such a point, and I was such a state, because I can't drink during the day with my job. I was in such a state. I was just kind of like, just killing myself, kind of thing. And, but I knocked it on the head. Anyway, I just stopped. But, you know, during the course of that time when, you know, like every day was absolute horror, I'm just thinking, how am I going to get through this day? And I'm like shaking like that, with like detoxing withdrawal symptoms, severe pains everywhere, you know, and having to work with colleagues. Normally I work on my own, but I mean, last week I couldn't have been in a worse state ever, you know. You know, it's like a fucking Boxing Day hangover every day, you know, or New Year's Day hangover, you know. Fuck have I done with that? And of course, you know, there's no reason, there's nothing in the environment that I could find comfort in, because I know it's a load of bollocks. So I'm just completely fucked up. And there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can apart from just drink more fucking alcohol. But I still had to get through each day. You know, at the end of the day, I'm like, how in the fuck have I managed to achieve everything that I've done today in the fucking state that I am in? And that was kind of like all last week, kind of. I mean, it's not the first time, but it's been like that, you know, for a few years. But I mean, you know, say the last couple of weeks have been just fucking diabolical. And it's hard to like get to sleep because you're still shaking and stuff like that. And so I'm not shaking now, or a little bit, apparently. And so what I took to do is to relive the past in my mind. I was picking particular people from my past 20, 30 years ago and just like reliving those days. Because in those days I wasn't an alcoholic and I was completely ignorant to everything that I know now. I was just like everybody else, happily walking along oblivious to their death. And so, you know, that was the only kind of like harbouring a tempest for me. And for months and months I've been doing that. And the funny thing about it is that all of these people they're held in my consciousness 20 years younger than they are now. Like, some of these people I haven't seen for 20 years. And if I saw them now, they wouldn't look anything like they do in my consciousness. And when I considered that at the time, I thought, I never want to see those people again, because that might shatter, you know, that time, you know. But I kind of realised that I have retained people. I know I'm saying time, but you know, I'm just trying to explain something. They are eternally young in my consciousness. Those people may look in the mirror now and forget what they look, unless they've got pictures or one of those fucking filters, you know, where you look 20 years younger on your phone. But you know, apart from that, they've forgotten. They've forgotten who they were. They've forgotten what they look like. They've forgotten their youth. But I've held them. You know, it's like, I don't know if you ever watched the John Wick movies, and he constantly gets asked, why do you do what you do? What makes you go on? And he says, because I want to remember my wife. And it always puzzled me for a while, until recently. For John Wick, you know, the character, so long as he remembers her, she's still alive. And indeed, she is still alive in his consciousness. And that's why he can't afford to die. Yet in the now, she's dead. And in the now, all of the people that I relive with, they're old. They're old. It's a bit like watching Only Fools and Horses. You know, if you saw David Jason today in real life, you'd be like, huh? You'd be shocked, wouldn't you? And if you watched Only Fools and Horses, having met David Jason in the now, you couldn't quite watch it the same way, could you? Kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, as they say. I think there was a point to this. Well, the point is, time doesn't exist, and I'm not remembering the past. I'm just looking at them now then, but then is now, so then doesn't exist, and they're not really 20 years older. Which obviously, you know, I have to question then, well, who's projecting on who then? You know, in the now, are they more superior to me? That in the now they project because they believe they're 20 years older, they're projecting themselves onto me, even though I know full well that they're not. Because I know what they look like, because I can look at them at any time when they're not there. So is the environment a false filter? Because if I'm laying in bed at night with my eyes closed, you know, the environmental filter isn't there to tell me they're 20 years older. So, if I thought about it enough, if I really kind of like planned to do like a teaching to really put my point across and everything, I guess I could find loads and loads of examples where everything just clashes and doesn't make any sense. About the environment, which proves that it's not real, it's not true. And as I went to the co-op, the beggar wasn't there, so that was nice. So I came from the right. I thought, I've been incarcerated in my life a couple of times. And I guess it's possible that, you know, there may be people in prison right now or institutions where they can't get out, but they have got the internet and they can view my vlogs. You know, and they're thinking, well, okay, so, you know, I'm going to be in this place for 20 years or never get out. So, what's the application? Well, we're all incarcerated. And because time doesn't exist, neither does distance, neither does, you know, like space. It doesn't exist. You know, I've got, well, allegedly, I could travel the whole world, but you can't. You're in a cell. But I'm still contained. Okay. You know, when I was saying about events, places and people that I can look at any moment, right now I'm in Newquay on a canoe in the sea, bronzed, getting too hot, flipping over, flipping back, cool, and then continue sunbathing. I was just there. I remember it well. But the thing is, I can add to it. You know, I've done that as well. So I remember the situations I've been in, and I've changed them. Imagination, I suppose you would call it. But I wouldn't call it imagination. I would just say it's just me living in my consciousness, ruling my own consciousness, choosing my reality. So yeah, if you're incarcerated, if you want, think along those lines. You know, play your own game. We're all trapped. I mean, yeah, I could travel the whole world, but I spend most of my time in this cabin or in buildings, and that's just about it, really. The whole world, you know, like the Grand Canyon or something like that, it's just an illusion. It's just looking out of a cell window. It's exactly the same. There's no difference. We're all incarcerated. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll try and follow up tomorrow if time exists.